Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific. I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the world. So while your windshield wipers can't go fast enough for you to see out the windshield, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
I've had that problem. Sometimes they just go really fast because it's all ice, but that's different.
Ice, ice, baby.
Oh, yeah. Hey, well, tonight we're talking with Marcy. Welcome, Marcy. All about visiting and exploring Valemount BC. As always, live audience, jump in the chat. You're already getting started. I don't know why I have to ask because you're always ahead of me there, but find out all you want to know about Valemount BC and what Marcy has to share tonight. I'm excited to learn, but first, it's time to bring in our pocket primate. Some say his only #1 hit was recorded on 8-track tape. Others say he wrote the book, Why is Daddy Always Napping? All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Man.
Did you write the book or were you the subject of the book?
A little bit of both. It's
okay.
It's an autobiographical novel, and it really feels like you've been spying on me through my microwave oven lately.
Refrigerate.
I was going to say it's not the microwave. We won't tell you where it is, but it's not the microwave.
It's not the microwave.
You.
Good to be back here. Good to be back on a Thursday night with my podcast buddies and everybody in the chat. Good to see everybody in there and already interacting with us. I love that.
They sure are.
And great to have Marcy back with us in a whole new sphere of influence.
Thank you.
All right. So before we get into all the stuff, we're going to get into a quick reminder first that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep the podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. So much to check out online in the landsharks.ca. That's landsharkz.ca store online. Pick up some products, check them out, and they'll be delivered before you know it. Well, maybe not before you know, but they'll get delivered. And if you are interested in our other corporate level sponsor, well, that would be Gold Country Geotourism. Now, Marcy, this isn't you.
Not anymore.
So just calm down for a moment. Inside joke for those who maybe know that Marcy used to represent Gold Country, and now we have some other wonderful people representing Gold Country. So check them out. ExploreGoldCountry.com. Check out the GeoTours. Check out the region. There's plenty to explore and plenty of adventures to be had in Gold Country. So again, on Facebook, Explore Gold Country, or hey, just online at the website. And don't forget to download the app, because if I have to tell you again, I'm turning this podcast around. All right.
You'll do it.
I've done it before. All right. Hey, and folks, if you want to know more about supporting this podcast, click that Patreon link in the cachingnw.com, a website.
And with that, it's time for the glow. You may ask, what is a glow?
What is it?
You may not ask, what is a glow?
I was waiting for Jim.
Well, he said I may. And so since given the option, I said, maybe I won't this week.
Hey, Chris, what is a glow?
Hey.
I love Marcy. Marcy, will you come on every week?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Marcy, the glow is the geocaching log of the week. Oh, look, we have people answering too. Thank you. Thank you, GSM times 2. Whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email or a recording to feedback@cachingandw.com. Of course, you can call into 253-693-TFTC and show us just how you glow. And we need your glows. Please send them in.
We do indeed. Let's see. This glow, well, it looks rather short, doesn't it? GC2 X-ray Echo Beta Alpha. How about that? Valemount Museum History Tour 09. Valemount. It's got a familiar ring to it. It's called Take the Train Traditional Geocache. GC2X EBA. And it says, on our way to Edmonton to return GeoGuider 565 home after spending a weekend in Abbotsford attending Geo Woodstock. GG565 had already found this one on a previous visit. It's a fantastic place. This spot would make a perfect adventure lab location. Hint, hint. I like that.
Very nice. That was
So
nice and short and to the point.
Yeah.
I think this again, though, goes back to, Chris, what you try and encourage with the whole concept of the glow, which is it doesn't have to be long.
No.
If there is a funny story, we always enjoy them and appreciate them. But, something more than a TFTC. And Marcy, you shared this one with us. Maybe it's a good opportunity to share with our listeners why a log that's more than a TFTC is valuable to someone in a role such as yours.
Thank you very much. So when people mention things like this, the key things that I'm looking for when I'm looking at these, I love to see where they're coming from, where they're going. Showing that they were at Geo Woodstock is really cool as well. Mm-hmm. And then also knowing that they're coming with people. And this particular geocache location, like they're giving a nice little hint, so to speak, without spilling the whole thing. This location is actually a really cool location. There's some pretty neat things to see there. And this is also part of the geo tour that I'll be talking about later as well.
Wait a minute.
Teaser.
A geo tour. You know what? As much as I want to do that, we can't talk about it just yet. Hold that thought. We'll be back. Oh, and she's got shiny bits.
Shiny.
I got shiny things.
Hey, folks, if you want to join in the conversation tonight, use the hashtag Valemount. There it is. I knew we had a
there's so much content in the chat already, it's hard to find.
I launched it quickly.
Yeah.
So use the hashtag Valemount, and our chat lackey will be quite particular if you don't spell it right. He may or may not include it. Of course, if you have a question or comment for the Caching in the Northwest team, use the hashtag FATAS. That's for the after show, and we'll bring that up in, I think I spilled the beans on that one too, in the after show. Yeah. I led with that.
Yeah, we don't care how you spell that one.
FATAS? No.
Yeah, spell it any way you want.
Of course, you can also use podcast baking to tell us what you're cooking during the show. And the new one we're trying out, podcast drinking, to tell us what you're sipping tonight.
That's awesome. I think that just started spinning up in the last few episodes,
Yeah.
Podcast drinking. That's awesome. And that, I think that is a completely crowdsourced hashtag.
It's sometime after Christmas, all the podcast baking just kind of died down.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how about what we're drinking? Oh,
Yeah, except that it hasn't, because I saw a podcast baking from Monkey Cakes.
Oh, yeah. German Lebkuchen.
Lebkuchen.
Wow.
Good
I
stuff.
don't know what that is, but I want it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. All right. Hey, you know what I want, Chris?
Do tell.
I want
No
some
spoilers. Hashtag Geotour.
news. I want some news, man.
This week, in fact, just a couple of days ago, HQ sent out the 2022 year in review. I like these. It's just a bunch of numbers. Some people look at it and go, meh. I'd like to know what's going on in the background in the world, right? Because I know how many caches I found this year. I know how many my friends found, but I don't know how. Do you guys know before the show what the average geocacher found this year? Their numbers?
A geocache.
Yes. The average geocacher found 43 geocaches this year. So that tells me not everyone is addicted, such as we are. Or
I'm
maybe they're all
embarrassed for the average geocacher.
Maybe they're all
Pull your
podcasters
socks up.
and they don't have the time. Now, with those 43 geocaches, somehow over 83 million logs were posted. I'm sorry, found logs were posted, and almost 2 million geocachers found at least one geocache.
Wow.
I feel like the math doesn't add up.
The math doesn't math there because, there's a whole, well, you get people who can find 10,000 in a year, and that really skews the numbers.
Yeah.
August 20th, when we shot for the world record, we didn't hit the world record, but we did get the most finds of the year with 640,000 total finds on that day. 600,264 if you want to be particular, because I think it matters. Now,
And that was the day they were pushing for the record, right?
Yeah.
right, that was Geo Woodstock Day.
No,
It was the 20th anniversary
20th anniversary.
plus
day.
2.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Come on.
exactly what I meant to say.
In what valley was Geo Woodstock, Chris?
Why, I can tell you, but I'm not going to. In the Fraser Valley,
It was down in the valley. The valley's so low.
so low.
There you go.
The top 5 countries with the most find logs were, wait, Germany, United States, Netherlands, France, and the UK.
Canada. Come on, guys.
I have to admit I'm a little shocked with those.
Germany and the US, I'm not shocked with to be in
Right.
the top 2.
I thought Czech Republic would be in there.
Oh, yeah, good point.
I
They're
did not-
often.
I did not think the Netherlands would be in there.
Well, now I want to see the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the top 5 countries with the most new geocache hides? I like doing this. Guess what? United States and Germany, France, Canada.
Yeah, there we
Yay.
are. Represent. So, hey, you know what? Actually, that's pretty good. So, we're not in the top 5 countries of going and finding things, but we are in the top 5 countries of placing things. So, what does that
Right.
tell you?
Hmm.
There you
That's awesome.
Okay. Nearly 70,000 geocachers hit a geocache. And do you think that is also events are included in that?
I would
I see.
imagine.
I see 13,000 geocachers hosting an event.
Oh,
I would think there would be more than 13. Well, there is
No.
probably more than 13,000 events because geocachers tend to hold more than one.
Yeah.
but it's not how many events were held. It's how many geocachers
Held events.
held events.
Mhm.
So that makes sense then. Yeah.
Okay. 23,000-ish geocachers hid their first geocache. That's 23,000 new finds to go out and grab.
Right.
Yeah.
And you better go find them in the first couple of months because they're probably not going to last.
That means you get to go find that spot again.
There you go.
Now, here's another part I like. Favorite points. Geocachers awarded, let's say 3.7 million favorite points. That's a lot of favorite points.
That is a lot of
However,
Oh,
However, here's the flip side of that. The global community of geocachers has 26.5 million favorite points yet to award.
oh.
So,
All right. So we're still being stingy, are we, folks?
yep. Let's work tonight. Let's pick one geocache and see if we can get 1 million favorite points on it.
Ooh. There you go. Yeah, and let's not use one of the ones that already has like 300 favorite
No,
points.
no, no.
Let's
No.
pick a new cache
I got a few
Oh,
here.
there you go.
In Valemount. There you go.
Let's help out Marcy.
Awesome. Yeah. So which one was GSM times 2 saying was a great stat?
I think they all are.
I would agree with that. Particularly that Canada's in the top 5 countries hiding geocaches.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, no, that's good. And it's great that 23,000 cache people went out and hid their first cache. I joke about finding it quickly because, sometimes
They got to start somewhere. And who knows, maybe we have a new gadget cacher in that group that is going to be the next one that we are all talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just on that note, and I know we need to get into Marcy's topics here, but on that particular note, Chris, I recently have found some caches by a new hider out in my neck of the woods here who is experimenting and trying some, non-standard hides, not just Tupperware. Not just a Tupperware tucked under some leaves or something. And they're doing a great job. So I made sure to give them a favorite point for it.
Oh,
very nice.
I think that's how you encourage somebody who's new to the game, who's trying something different and trying to do better.
and by signing TFTC so they can read that and quickly get out and hide more caches.
Because nothing encourages people like a TFTC.
Yeah.
Right. Especially the new hiders going, I'd like to buy a vowel. What does this really say?
I think it's kind of that noise that the Roadrunner makes.
Get it.
GSM times 2 was talking about the first hide stat.
Okay.
23,000. Yeah, because without hiders, there would be no caches to find.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right? I mean, GSM times 2
on that one. Sorry, Chris.
Do top. What?
But if just to go through those numbers again, like it was just 69,661 geocachers hid caches.
Hidden
And of that 69,000, 23,000, it was their first one.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting to me. That's
Yeah, a third.
Wow.
that's a lot of people. A lot of the hides that went out this year were by people hiding their first one. So obviously HQ has done something well in the past year to encourage people to try and hide a cache.
It has to be that the souvenir, the hider souvenir, right?
It probably doesn't hurt.
Right.
So, yeah, that is very interesting. I'm a numbers geek, right? I mean, nothing's better than a chart or a graph, but this is as close as I can get. And I like that almost 2 million geocachers found at least one geocache this year.
Yeah, that's
right. Now, we don't know the total size of the community, of the geocaching community, but we know that 2 million found at least one. We know there's at least 2 million in the community.
So you can say there's 2 million active cachers.
Correct.
Cool.
Okay, enough with numbers.
It's fun with numbers.
A 1, a 2.
As much as we love to count, we also
I should have done the whole thing in the count voice. I missed that opportunity.
The window has passed.
Yep.
However, we could just
However,
completely switch gears.
we are. Marcy, number one, and here I go back with numbers, right? Number one, you're one of my favorite guests. And tonight you are absolutely my favorite guest because, you ask questions where my hosts over here didn't do anything for me. So I like you.
Oh, thank you. I like you too. And thank you for having me.
Oh, you are always
it's been
welcome.
Great.
Now,
Absolutely.
There's some people who may remember you from another job, but you're now in a different place. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and even a little bit about your geocaching history, if you don't mind?
Certainly. So first of all, I want to say welcome from Valemount BC, and that's where I live, work, and play now, and absolutely love it. It is, if you've never been to Valemount, it's surrounded by 3 mountain ranges. We have the Rockies, the Caribous, and the Monashees. So there's so many things to see and do here. I'm the executive director of Tourism Valemount, and I have been here since August. Officially moved to the community in September. And what we do is promote the community of Valemount. So visitor guides, maps, we have a website, and we're always out promoting and letting people know what you can come see and do here. I started geocaching in 2009. Finding a couple of local hides when I was living in Kelowna. I then moved to Cache Creek, and that's when I learned about geotours and learned a lot more about geocaching. And as many may know or not know, I was working with Gold Country Geocaching Geotour, and I was the program coordinator there. And then moved on to be the executive director, and now I am here in Valemount, BC, and absolutely loving it. I don't have a whole lot of finds. I'm probably at about 600 and something. A lot of those years I spent hiding geocaches. So yeah, that kept me pretty busy. And then not only hiding them, it was also maintaining them. So yeah.
Right.
The great thing about geocaching, especially coming to a new community, it is such an awesome way to learn about the community and to find those little places that you may not have known about or driven by, that sort of thing. So it's a great way to get out and explore. My daughter and I have been going out, and every chance we get, especially on the weekends, we're out exploring this whole region, and we found quite a few different types of geocaches, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go here.
Nice.
Fantastic. So you gave us a little bit of a teaser about Valemount in the sense of, look for these mountain ranges, but maybe you can help our listeners understand a little more specifically where they would find Valemount and what's some reasons to come up there besides geocaching.
Sure. So Valemount is located on Highway 5. We are 3 hours south of Prince George and 4 hours north of Kamloops. We are in the northernmost part of the Thompson Okanagan, so we are still in that Thompson Okanagan area. We're also considered part of the Caribou, and we're in the Fraser, Fort George, and Columbia Basin regions as well. So we're kind of in the hub of a lot of different areas. And we're an hour and 20 minutes from Jasper. So we're right near the Alberta border. So Mount Robson is one of the places that we promote as well. So things to do here. I've got a couple examples in the background here. We have an amazing mountain bike park, just incredible. And then there's also, especially right now with this season, and we've got some new snow today, sledding is really popular here with the majority of people that do come to the region. There's also the Chinook salmon that come around August and into September, and that's quite an incredible thing to see. If you've never seen a Chinook salmon, they're quite large. And our viewing deck is at the George Hicks Regional Park, which is right close to the visitor center. It's just a quick little walk. So you can pick up your guides there and then go and check out the salmon if you're here in the fall. Other
Marcy,
things to do.
sorry,
Yes?
I was just going to jump in there because I think that's one of the things that I find almost kind of mind-boggling is if you think about that, like the Chinook salmon, they come from the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
And they have swam up the Fraser River
Yeah.
for spawning up by Valemount, like a 4-hour drive from Kamloops, like an 8-hour drive perhaps from Vancouver. Like, and that's a drive, not a swim.
Yeah. And how do they get a rental car?
Right? No
Well, we
wonder
do
you
have
can't get
tour
rental
buses
cars
that
during
come
spawning
through
season.
too. So, they may hitch a ride on a tour bus. But it's incredible. Like when I was exploring the area, and that was one of the things that I found mind-boggling too, is how close we are to the Fraser River. And I know the Fraser River from the Fraser Valley and that sort of thing. And that region, and it's like looking on the map and seeing how far the river goes. It's just incredible. There's a beautiful book that they sell at the Mount Robson Visitor Center and at the local visitor center as well. And it's about a family of bears, but it also talks about the journey of the salmon. And it's actually was locally produced, and people helped write this book and do the pictures. It's just quite incredible. But it's really neat to see because it shows, how far we are and how the the way the salmon go. But it's just one of the other really cool spots to check out if you're in the area is Rearguard Falls. It's just a really quick little walk, nice little parking area. It's paved, so it's pretty easily accessible. But you can stand there and you actually see these salmon jump the waterfalls. The day that I went down there, and a couple of the reasons why we went down there, because there's probably a geocache or two down there too. So we went to find the geocaches, and as we were there, we actually did see some salmon jumping. We also saw a group of people kayaking. They get out at one spot, they can walk around down by the stairs and go at the bottom of the falls and head off down again. And I actually got some video clip of it. It was pretty incredible. Just the variety of activities and outdoor sports that people do here is just amazing. This is a very, very active community.
Excellent. That's really cool. You had mentioned in the notes about a rugged trail along the river with great views. Is that the same location you're talking about, or?
No.
Okay.
That's a different one. There's a place, it's called the Old Salmon Spawning Channel, and it's in this book, and it's also online, of course. And it's an incredible little area. And actually, my neighbor next door to me here hid that geocache. He said, "Have you gone to check out this geocache?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." He goes, "Well, you need to go in there." So I did. Went down there with our dog, Ella, who's a very avid geocacher as well. Anyway, we're hiking along, and you're right near the river edge. So, of course, you got to be very careful. And I had Ella on a leash, and she decided to take a drink of water and kind of went in for a swim. And I was glad she had her harness on her. So we both learned, a very valuable lesson there. And I always have a pack on with a rope and that sort of thing, because you got to be prepared. And we're right in bear country as well. And I was actually expecting to see, because it was pretty remote where we are, but it was just so beautiful there. The Fraser River's there. This little creek connects on, and you could see all these salmon just right next to you, basically. Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So a year-round destination, clearly, with lots of outdoor. So sledding. You talked about sledding. So maybe just to make sure people understand, we're not talking about like sliding down the neighborhood hill. We're talking about actually powered sledding.
That's right. Snowmobiling. There's snowmobiling. But the other cool thing too, the bike park, that's called 5 Mile Hill. So there's lots of trails there as well. But in the winter, there's actually the road you can actually toboggan on it as well. So that's accessible, and people ski here too. So there's lots of downhill skiing as well. But yeah, there's some great areas for snowmobiling too, and all that you can access on our website as well.
Perfect. Maybe I'll work on trying to bring this up while we keep talking here. But CRS98 asked a great question, which is to share a map for those who can't quite grasp where Valemount is. So I will pull that together and get that up on the screen if you guys want to keep talking.
Absolutely. On our website as well at visitvalemount.ca, we do have maps on there. We do also have wonderful hiking trails as well. So this map has the hiking trails and the mountain biking trails too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it comes in 2 sizes. There's a large size and then a nice convenient pocket size, which I quite like. My camera's over there.
Yeah.
There we go. There's Valemount.
There you go. Yeah.
So it's tough to see. We can see Kamloops right here, Kelowna down here.
And then
Let's see.
So
Clearwater,
Vancouver.
Blue
So
River.
major cities that people are more probably familiar with. Vancouver and Abbotsford are like right down there by the big blue chunk of water. That's the Salish Sea. So if folks came up for Geo Woodstock, you would have been right down there on the bottom left-hand corner of the map. And so this is a trip for sure to get up there, but it's an adventure and worth making the adventure.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a beautiful drive as well. And Valemount is so accessible. with how to get here, like driving on the Yellowhead Highway 5 or coming down from Highway 16 if you're going through Prince George.
Marcy, if Keats wanted to come there by train, could he do that?
Yes, he could. Yeah. There's actually a train station. There's actually our museum is the old train station, and it's really cool. It's really neat to check that out. But right across there is the railway track, which is on Main Street, and there is a spot there that people can take the train and actually head up to Jasper and down.
Very cool. So is that the what's that called? The fancy, crazy, expensive train that goes through BC? Is that the same one that does that go to Valemount?
No, the Rocky Mountaineer.
The Rocky Mountaineer, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no. So our line is CN.
Oh,
and
okay.
I do believe that one's on the CP.
Cool. All right.
I have to check my facts on that, but yeah.
Very cool. All right. So lots of helpful information there. Yeah. BC Rock Crawler says that they drove through Valemount a few times while living in Jasper. Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And they've also camped and cached there back in 2011. Very cool.
Awesome. I was teasing Rory earlier with our geocoin that we have.
Yeah, I think he has a bit of a reputation for enjoying geocoins. So.
Yes.
We
She gave me one of his a while ago, and I
Nice.
still have it. Yeah.
Wonderful.
We can't talk about the geocoin just yet.
No?
Almost.
Okay.
It's coming up.
So
Okay.
where do we want to go next here?
Well, I'm guessing she's lived there since September, and geocache found some. Have you generated any funny stories while you lived there? Anything you
Yeah.
can share with
So
us?
one of the things here, there's a lot of berries. There's blueberries and there's huckleberries. And if you're local, you know where they are. And it's one of those things you don't really want to share with people because it's kind of like your spot, right?
Secret stash.
So
Yeah.
I went out with, I'll call her Adventure Dog, our Adventure Dog, and I'm teaching her how to smell out geocaches. But she came up with a really neat trick. She absolutely loves blueberries. So we were going to this geocache, and it was actually a really cool location. And again, it's in this book. As we got there, it's just sand, like this beautiful, really fine sand that just sparkles. It's just really cool. And I'm looking and I'm seeing all these little low bushes, and I'm like, kind of think those might be blueberries. I'm not quite sure. So we get out, we're hiking. I have all my geocaching gear, except for one thing that I didn't have, which I now pack. So we're cruising along, and all of a sudden Ella stops and she just starts chewing on this bush, and she's eating these blueberries. So I ended up having to dump a container so that I could pick some blueberries. So now we know where that is. So kind of gave it away a little bit. It's in the book.
Well, show that on screen. Hold that book up. What is this? This is the Historic Hikes Geocache edition of the Valemount Museum. Nice.
With a collectible coin.
Ooh.
We'll show that now.
There you go. That is a
And
good looking coin.
There's the other side. And there's a train station. Not to be confused with the Yellowstone train station.
Okay, that's a nice design. And so on the other side of it, there was a kind of a seasonal summertime, and
yeah. So that's our logo. So it's a snowflake and the sun, and you'll see that logo everywhere you go in Valemount. And then the train station museum on the back.
Very nice.
And the other cool thing, when you go to that museum, they're open May to September. Those books are for sale there, and also at the visitor center, and they're $6. The cool thing there is there's also an lookout from like forestry. So there's an actual lookout that's hiding on the, well, not hiding on the spot. It's there, but there's something else there that you need to go find. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, well, now that you've shown a coin with a train station on it, Subway Mark says, "Oh boy, a train station must have coin."
Must have.
Guess you'll be getting a visit from Subway Mark. There you go.
Yes, I think in the very near
Awesome.
future.
And GSM times 2 asked, how do they get the book and coin? And you were saying it's available for purchase from the museum?
Yeah, it's available for purchase from the museum. Again, they're open May to September, but it's also available at the visitor center, and our visitor center is open year-round, Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday. Okay. So that's one of the ones I gotta say. This is one of the things that drives me nuts when I am traveling is visitor centers aren't open on the weekends.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are in the summer, but
Okay.
yeah, they're usually Monday to Friday as well.
Okay.
I'm here Monday to Friday, but I also have a cell phone that I check too. So if people are in the area, they can let me know.
So why don't you just tell us, everybody, that cell phone number so we can call you on the weekends and let you know where we are? No, don't do that.
No.
Smart
It's
move.
on the website.
So you go to the History Museum, you start this tour, and you can earn a coin. What do you have to do to earn the coin? I mean, Subway Mark is already drooling over a train station coin.
They're so good there. So it's really based on the honor system. Some books have stickers or stamps or that sort of thing. And this one, you go out and find some of them, and then you go back to that train station, and then you can get your coin there.
So you collect code words out of the caches or something like that. And
No, you don't even need
just
to
log
do that.
them.
You just need to log them. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
What I've been doing is I always write down the date in which I found them as well too. And again, it is based on the honor system as well. So
Nice. But then
Yeah.
it's if you're putting the date and the notes in the book, then it's a bit of a journal of your adventure too.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's why mine always get thrashed. I mean, it's got mud, it's got blueberry stains and all kinds of things on it because it's always in my bag.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're really selling me on the blueberry aspect there. That sounds
Yeah.
Oh,
that
they're
sounds
so
like
good. They're really shiny and they are so good. There's also wild raspberries around too. I haven't found the huckleberries yet. Apparently, I need to go up further. So that'll be next year. I gotta get our adventure dog a few huckleberries first so that she knows what they smell like, so she can help me find them. And I always know now, pack an extra container.
very cool. Now, Marcy, we were talking earlier about just a couple of the activities that folks can do when they come and visit in Valemount. But you've got a bit of a list of some summer activities for us as well that people can enjoy if they plan a trip this summer up to Valemount. Can you share some of those?
I sure can. So there's so many beautiful things to see and do here. And one of the places that I really enjoy going, and I almost go there on a daily basis because it's just minutes from the downtown core where I'm at, and that's Cranberry Marsh Trail. It's a beautiful trail that you can take. It's fairly flat. There is part of it that is accessible for wheelchairs, strollers, that sort of thing, and it's a boardwalk section. In the summer, you can see so many dragonflies in there, and there's always a lot of birds in there too.
Neat.
I've seen sandhill cranes, a variety of geese, ducks, that sort of thing. And I've also heard that there's been pelicans from time to time in there as well. And occasionally people see moose in there as well. It's quite a large marsh. There's one part that's accessible on what's called McCurdy Road. And down there, there's a kind of a launch area. So you can actually go in with a kayak or a canoe, and you can actually paddle around the marsh as well, which is quite extraordinary. You're going to be seeing all these different things. Highly recommend for those that are just visiting and never been here before, make sure you mark your trail, like GPS or something, so that you know where you're going and how to get back to where your vehicle is. I think we've all learned once or twice, maybe the hard way, both that. Bushwhacking is not a cool thing in the marsh. The trails are beautiful. And the other cool thing is that there's 2 viewing decks that you walk up about 3 or 4 flights of stairs, and you're seeing a panoramic view of the marsh and the 3 mountain ranges as well. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Another area that's really close to the downtown core is called Swift Creek Trail. and that's a beautiful trail that you follow it. Yes, right along Swift Creek, and it does a loop around, and it goes right into that mountain bike park too. So a lot of these trails do connect, and we do have a number of trail maps in the area as well. Some of the other things there are, of course, I mentioned about the mountain bike park. They have a variety of trails, so it goes from novice, intermediate, into advanced as well. Very popular in the summer. The really cool thing about the bike park is it's really inspired a lot of local businesses as well. So we have some newer businesses to the area because of that activity as well. So the people that are involved with that, they're called VARDA, the Valemount Association of Recreation Development. They've done an incredible job of promoting and developing that area with them and their board of directors and a group of volunteers as well. So it's just amazing what's happened, and just start off with a couple of trails. And we've actually got video on our YouTube channel as well that people can watch and learn more about that as well. Other things that are, great to do in the area, just even one of the really cool things that we've got this really cool playground that's right downtown. And one of the things that's really neat is that there's a biking trail. It's fairly flat, so it's pretty accessible. But in that bike park, there's actually a bike station. So if you have a flat tire or you need to tighten something up, it's right there for you to do that as well. And of course, there's for people who have need to charge up their car, there's those stations there as well. So winter activities too, really quickly. We also have a recreation center. So there's public skating. At times when it's accessible and it's been cleared out, people do go ice skating on the Cranberry Marsh Trail as well. But of course, you got to be, make sure that the ice is good and that it has been prepped for that.
Yes.
Fun.
Nice.
Marcy, you were mentioning a lot of the wildlife in the marsh area and the great trails and everything. I'm assuming there's going to be some caches around that area, but you were also mentioning things that you've learned that you need to make sure you take when you go hiking. I'm hearing marsh area and summer, and I'm thinking, is bug spray one of the things people should bring with them?
Yeah. So the reason why there's a lot of dragonflies is because there's a lot of mosquitoes, and yeah, you will find that there are some mosquitoes as well. I mean, I was walking through there. The neat thing about that marsh area is that you're going into like an open area, and then you're going into the woods too, and it's so diverse through that area. So there are parts where like I'd walk through with a hoodie on and that sort of thing, and make sure I had bug spray with me and take care of those kind of things. And there are a few geocaches in that area too. One is they're all really cool, but there's an old foundation from a home that used to be in there, and you'll read about some of that history in this book as well. But even when you get there, there's some signage about it too. So that's one that Adventure Dog did help me find, because I was on the wrong trail and she found it for me.
Oh, so there's a blueberry bush beside it.
Not that time. And it's funny where you start seeing blueberry bushes, because like I said, she's got a nose for that kind of thing now too. So yeah.
Oh, okay, so you mentioned hiking, biking. BC Rock Crawler wants to know, is there ATV riding?
There is actually. So a couple of cool things. There's Canoe Mountain, which you do see from the Cranberry Marsh Trail, and it's one of the major mountains when you're driving first into Valemount from the south side. And people do drive up there with ATVs. There has been an ATV event that has happened in the region as well. So that's a great area. There's also a rental shop too, where you can rent or go on ATV tours as well. They also rent snowmobiles too, for people need to know that as well. So do check out our website, because it does have a full list of all the events and activities and local businesses as well.
Nice.
For those that, sorry, just 1 second. I just had a thought. But for those people that really enjoy those kind of activities that are bringing people that, may not quite enjoy those type of activities, we do have a little bit of an urban area as well, so to speak. I mean, we are a rural community, but we do have an art gallery that has some beautiful creations from local artisans. We also have an amazing bakery. We have coffee shops, we have restaurants, we have sushi, pizza, all those kind of things too. Just some really beautiful gift shops as well. So there's a lot of things to do for those that really enjoy shopping and just kind of wandering around. We also have an art walk in the community too, and brochures can be picked up at the library for that, which is right next to the train station.
Hey, those can be a lot of fun. The art walks, all that sounds amazing. Of course, you mentioned food, which you had me at food because I like to eat.
Food. Yeah.
I hear the
The food. And for those that like to sip, there's Three Ranges Brewery as well.
Okay. So I know 8 hours drive-ish from Vancouver. So if you're going to do this in a day trip, you're not going to get a lot of time to cache and see the sights. Are there places to stay, or do we just need to do day trip up and back?
No,
stay, have some food, all that.
Yeah, there are places to stay. We do have a list on our website of hotels and motels, and there are some camping areas as well. So there is a list. And if you're wanting to know more about the accommodations, I do recommend contacting the visitor center as well. So
fantastic. Ryling says that Canoe Mountain is the highest place you can drive a 4x4 in Canada, I believe. You can drive to about 2,600 meter elevation. And yes, there are 2 geocaches near the summit. Of course there are.
But of course.
That will be our next destination.
Nice.
There's quite a bit of snow up there right now, though.
Subway Mark says a train station, geocaching, and a brewery. Trip planning has begun.
There's probably even places for Dylan up there.
Yes.
Maybe that's a good segue. Subway Mark's planning that he shared. Marcy, if people wanted to plan a trip up to Valemount, now, we flashed a map up on the screen, but are there any online tools or anything that people could use to help plan their trip to Valemount?
Visit valemount.ca. There we go.
There we go. Visit
Zoom in a little
Valemount.
bit on that one so everybody can see it.
.ca. Okay.
Visit valemount.ca.
All right. Yeah, we got that in the show notes now and on the screen. Thank you, Brian.
That's awesome. And when you go on to that, you'll see a lot of the partnerships that we have as well to connect to as well. One of them, the t-shirt I'm wearing this t-shirt, and it's ridevalemount.com as well. And that's where you're going to find a lot of information about the mountain biking and the sledding. And right now they're keeping up to date with the grooming schedule as well, so people know what trails have been groomed for going snowmobiling.
Awesome.
Now, I know you said towards the beginning there's places to rent, right? So we can rent bicycles, we could rent snow machines if we wanted to this time of year.
Yes, that's correct.
Love that. Yeah.
And kayaks?
Not much bicycles right now, but definitely.
Well, not right at the moment, but yeah, during the summer.
That's correct. Yeah.
What about if people wanted to rent boats, kayaks, canoes?
Not locally that I'm aware of. I know that further down the road there are places.
So business opportunity if someone wants to open a business in Valemount.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, there's somebody that's working on that in Clearwater, actually.
Okay.
Which is only 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it makes me laugh because it's one of those things that when my relatives in Germany, when I'm talking to them and I'll say something like, "Oh, that's just a 4-hour drive," and they're like, 4-hour drive? I can cross 2 countries in 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We don't often leave a state in 4 hours, right? So yeah, it's all perspective.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to the kayak rental because right down by me at the waterfront, there's a small business that popped up. This guy owns a bus. He loads kayaks in the bus, drives down to the waterfront, rents them for the day, pulls them back in and goes home. Like, that would be great to take that and start traveling up and down and, being able to rent kayaks wherever you are and change your location on a regular basis.
There's so many entrepreneurs in this community too. So with the bike park, what one company has developed is called Peak Shuttles, and they actually shuttle you up to the top of the bike mountain park too, or to the
Oh,
stage.
that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been so many businesses that have grown because of that as well. So it's really neat to see that.
That's excellent. I just love hearing about these communities in northern BC and such that, outside of the Metro Vancouver Fraser Valley area where the tourism economy is growing actively, and there's cool outdoor interesting stuff to go and do. And I really appreciate that you've been able to come in and share about Valemount from that perspective. Subway Mark had a great question. How dog friendly is Valemount?
It's actually very dog friendly, and it's kind of neat because I was sharing a couple reels on our social media story, and right after that, one of the local hotels posted about how dogs are welcome there, and then somebody mentioned about taking your dog sledding and that sort of thing. So dogs are definitely welcome in the area. There's some trails. There's a new multi-use trail that's in Jackman Trail, which is a BC provincial park. It's about 15 minutes up the road. They've developed there's groomed cross country ski trails there, but now they also have a multi-use trail, and you can go snowshoeing and whatnot with your dog, but of course your dog needs to be on a leash. And that is a really cool place to check out year round. The trails are sand in the summer, and there's lichen. And there's history signs and information about the lichen and how caribou, that's what they eat. So there are caribou in this region too. So for those that are coming to go sledding, that's something they need to be aware of, because caribou are protected and there are areas that they cannot access because of that protection. So always know before you go, and check out, the websites as well to find out about the area, and especially at this time of year too, you also want to check out Avalanche Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
Sandra will be on again, I'm sure, some point to tell us more about that.
Yes, I actually popped in onto one of her webinars too to get a refresher about traveling safely at this time of year as well.
Yes.
Awesome. A question from GSM Times 2. Are there grizzly bears in the mountains or anywhere near Valemount?
There certainly are grizzly bears. Actually, in one of the trail maps I was reading, doing some browsing on it, and Mount Trudeau, there's known to be grizzly bears up there. So they are around the area. I was out cross-country skiing on the weekend at Camp Creek Trail, which is another great trail where you can take your dog. And it's beautiful there too. There's actually a cabin that you can phone ahead and stay at, reserve.
Okay.
It's just gorgeous. Cool. Yeah. And it's about a 2.4 kilometer trek around. Anyway, as we were cruising along, we looked and there was moose tracks right on the trail going along. So I'm not sure at what time it went through, but yeah, it certainly did. So you do have to be aware of wildlife here, from the teeny tiny little things to the great big animals.
Some more feedback from GSM Times 2, who's very active in the chat tonight, but he commends the cache page is very easy to navigate. So well done. So some constructive some positive feedback there.
Yeah.
Awesome. I will pass that along. A lot of work was put into that with the book and the stories, and the amount of volunteers that worked on that is pretty awesome.
Excellent.
Marcy, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, if our listeners wanted to connect with you, ask some questions, we got to get the number for that cabin, right? Yeah. How would we get a hold of you?
So again, you can contact me through the website at visitvalemount.ca. And then we're also on social media under Tourism Valemount. So you want to follow us too and see what we're up to. We have an event coming up on February the 19th, which is the Family Day Long Weekend, and it's Winterfest 2023. So you can message me via social media as well.
Nice.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Listeners, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. And I want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks. That's LANDSHARKZ.ca, and Gold Country Geotourism. That's goldcountry.ca. They are our corporate Denali level sponsors, so check them out. Land Sharks is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They're shipping those orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, on your way up to Valemount, stop by in Gold Country and do a little caching there as well. All right. We want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters, Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotourism, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cachly, the geocaching app. And folks, if you want to know more about supporting this show, or hey, earning a geocoin, a nice shiny geocoin, click that Patreon link on the cachingnw.com, a website.
Like AckerDoc did.
And Limax.
And J-Car.
And Genies.
Skyhawker.
Taking the train to the podcast tonight, Keats 94.
Kennel Barb.
Fairwood West.
Our favorite kitchen appliance, the LG 9000.
Sprouter.
Korsgat.
I think a fan of earth caching, you talks to rocks.
Who isn't really?
I'm a fan of You Talks to Rocks and of Dora Moore.
And Donners.
Active in the chat tonight, CRS 98.
Antaeus.
MC3 Cats.
Someone I haven't seen around for a little while,
Yeah.
but boy, do we ever like counting them down. Ari 54321.
Getting wet.
B. Pendragon.
Al Robrick.
Trexer.
GeoNav Pro.
Just finding our way.
Geocaches.
Kid Vegas 19.
Asking about dog-friendly places with trains, Subway Mark.
Mm-hmm.
That entirely sums him up right there.
Kind of does, doesn't
Pretty
it?
much.
M-Nerve.
Let's see. Peach of many places. Washington official in Nevada tonight. Who knows where it'll be next week?
And Sege Hove.
Very active in the chat. GSM times 2. That one.
Yeah. How about Boomer 365?
How about log work?
How about you, Dak?
The Camp Clan.
New supporter of the podcast and one of my favorite places to visit as well, Whidbey Island gal. I mean, not visiting her. I haven't met her, but visiting the island upon which she lives. Boy, there's room for the other foot. Hold on.
Yep.
Making it awkward, Kev MacD.
Just gonna think green words.
And I think she's left the show tonight, but celebrating a birthday this past weekend, Seebeck Tribe.
Tick Magnet.
As always, terrible lunch, wonderful geocacher. Gas Station Tuna.
And great geocache creators, Team Noltex.
Flagman.
The Arnott family.
And last but not least, one of our favorite spilly drinkers, Wet Coaster.
That's right.
What a great list. It just keeps growing and growing, and we thank each and every one of them. And all of you out there listening. And a special thanks to Marcy for joining us from a new location. Boy, we started teasing her last time, and then she picked up and moved. So I don't know if it was us.
Where's she going to be next week?
Yeah.
Playing this whole game, where's Marcy? And I'm like, oh, I'll get you. Figure this out.
Oh, one more time, I'm going to throw out. What's that?
Marcy always wins at that game.
Yeah. Uncle, you win. Hey, one more time, if people wanted to reach and get in touch with you, they finally found their pen. Where is that again?
Visit valemount.ca.
Perfect.
And folks, thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. And if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want to talk about, because we'll bring Marcy on again, because everybody likes to talk to Marcy.
We'll do it.
In either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Subscribe and give us a review. Now, if you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. And of course, you can call 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask a question, or carpool with us any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingNW.com. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show. And as we proved tonight, even livelier chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2023 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, we ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
Oh, you'd think I had my caffeine tonight, right? I didn't.
Well done.
Oh. Well, you mentioned some people you hadn't seen in a long time. I got to see many of those patrons at the Bremerton Cash Machine 20th anniversary event.
Nice. How'd that go?
Very well. It went very well. Very well attended.
Awesome.
So let's see. CRS 98 is podcast drinking and old fashioned, just like me.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a nice drink.
I saw him this weekend.
CRS 98, your old fashioned, was it bourbon or whiskey?
Oh, we'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Starcacher is drinking chocolate milk, which
Excellent.
I learned is excellent after sports, right? So my son was swimming, and they said one of the best recovery drinks is chocolate milk.
Really?
Good for time travel too.
Is it now?
I
I'm
think
not
that was
Yes,
gonna-
Men in Black 3, I think. The
Oh, was it?
Oh, right.
Yes.
GSM times 2 was his podcast drinking was pink lemonade crystal light. Now he says pretty boring, but I don't know. That's pretty flashy if you
I
ask
like
me.
it, yeah.
I know mine's just plain water. I don't have any flavor into it, so don't call it boring.
Mine
have-
was just hot water as well. So
Mine's water with lemon.
nice.
I did
Now
the
you're
black,
fancy.
the black cherry
Yeah.
sparkling water tonight.
I'm
So.
all fancy.
There you
But I
go.
got the fancy cup, so.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
love
Now-
that.
Now, Marcy, you've been showing off that cup. Now, is that something people can buy when they come up to the?
Yes, that's also available at the visitor center.
Nice. Do
The
you have
visitor
ball
center
cap?
actually has quite a bit of swag.
Yeah.
And if people were to visit or go to the ridevalemount.com website, they actually have some pretty cool swag too, including the t-shirt that I'm wearing.
So
Nice.
what you're saying is you can pack extremely light to go up to Valemount, buy everything you need there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
There's
Rent your
quite a
bikes,
few
rent your
things.
snowmobiles, whatever you need, and then, come back home and say, wow, what a vacation.
What a vacation! What a
And
trip!
I think I heard
Now
her
where am
say
I
you
going to
can
put all
buy
this
this.
stuff? Yeah.
I think I heard her say you can buy the shirt right off her back there. So.
Ah,
One like it.
Oh, okay. You said this shirt, so I just want to make sure.
A shirt like the one I'm wearing.
Okay.
Oh.
Fair enough.
You have me at wit's end.
Oh, I think we missed one from Wet Coaster that says, stayed in Valemount with my daughter when we drove from Edmonton, preparing to move back to Surrey after working up there.
Nice.
Ah. Well, there you
There
go.
you
I think Valemount would have been a nice place to stop if you're coming
Yeah.
from Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Not just logistically, but a nice change of scenery.
Once you hit
West
those
Coast-
mountains, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nice. Wet Coaster says our tickets are booked for our flight to England so we can
Oh,
go
wow.
caching on Guernsey.
Nice.
That's a UK Channel Island.
Very cool.
And GSM times 2 says I got to adopt a legacy cache that was set in February 2001.
That's
Ooh.
cool.
And he made a 3-minute video about it if you want to go
Oh, wow.
watch it.
Cool.
There you go. Very cool. Yeah, we've got a few YouTubers who regularly watch the podcast here and contribute in the chat. So yeah, go and support all of them. Go watch their videos and give them a thumbs up if you enjoy their video and subscribe.
Okay, one more thing.
Oh,
I've got an event coming up for my
Ooh.
4000s find. That's
Oh.
going to be next Sunday right here in the city of Tacoma. That's GC. Can you believe we're to GCAs now? You remember when it was GC8 and GC9? Now we're to GCA 3Q2Y. So GC Alpha 3 Quebec 2 Yankee.
Mark it on your calendars. Make plans to go celebrate.
Casey needed to know their Land Monkey. It's rye whiskey, bullet rye, to be specific.
I just saw that. Yeah. No,
That's
good.
very specific.
Awesome. Thank you, CRS98.
All right, folks, thank you so much. And until next week, get out and get caching in Valemount
There we
and the
go.
Northwest.